The Painful Excellence Podcast.
Absolutely. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. This is Painful Excellence Podcast. Pull up. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. I don't usually go back to back on pep talk, but it's necessary in this current atmosphere. It's very, 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 very necessary. Let me say what's up to the people in the chat. Ern Jordan, Derek Gaines, Shogun, Columbia, the CDB, salute. Mr. Big Play, salute, salute. Salute to my people on Rumble. We're going to have a lot of things popping on Patreon. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Rumble. Chilltown, salute. Y'all make sure y'all follow me. Because there's going to come a point in time, D-Man, salute. There's going to come a point in time where I'll say what I have to say on YouTube, and I'll discontinue the live stream on YouTube, and I'll pick it up on Rumble, or I'll pick it up on Patreon. Because, you can't say certain things about certain situations. Because what I've learned is that people that oversee our content, they're human like everybody else, but what happens is they're in positions of power. They could be a part of a certain community. They can have a difference of opinion, political opinion, and that's where it gets very tricky. They have the power. We used to say power of the pen, but in this era of social media, or just the technical era, they can do what they want. I appreciate that, Mr. Big Play. Salute. Trey Will, my brother, salute. So yesterday I made a comment, pretty much the moral of the story. Bionic Prince, salute. And by the way, this is why I asked y'all to hit the like button, hype the video, and share it. It takes 2 seconds to click that arrow next to the thumbs up button and just share it and just say, we outside. Universal truth, salute. Yesterday, the moral of the story was Black Americans, whatever they got going on in Minnesota with the Somalians and, ICE, it's not your business. We're not being deported. And whoever they're looking for to get out the country, that's not our business. Because a lot of people they're kicking out the country, they were pro-Trump, whether you believe it or not. Not all of them were, but they were pro-Trump. And I know it's messed up. We got a lot of people that are here legally, but they might have been born somewhere else. But you guys need to understand why we're sitting out. Because historically, the Black American has been disrespected, and we weren't only disrespected by white people. And I'm going to prove that this evening. Jeff Sparks, salute. Snoop, salute to you over there in Rumble. I'm going to prove that to you this evening. Black people have been used for years as the tiebreaker. Whenever they need some votes to get over, that's Jose, salute. That's the only time you'll see some politicians in the Black neighborhood. The only time Hillary Clinton came up to the Bronx, and she was right up here across the street from where I live, literally across the street. And other than that, I don't see her. Nice guy, salute. And salute to you on Rumble, salute. The Clintons had something going on in Harlem. I mean, that's a political tactic, man. You don't have to sugarcoat anything with me. You don't have to play into who you think I am. You ain't got to talk about, I clean my collard greens in the bathtub, all kinds of weird shit that I've heard from a lot of people. Look, just tell me what you're going to do for the country, what you're going to do for, if you're not only for the presidency, but if you're running for a local congressman, just tell me what you're going to do for the community, what you're going to do for the kids, what you're going to do for the neighborhoods. We have problems. What are you going to do for it? Look, I don't care what race, culture, or creed you are. Just tell me what you're going to do for me. You ain't got to come up to me and dapping it up and start trying to talk like me. You ain't got. That's actually insulting. That's insulting. All right. Tay, good evening. And I'm not as sharp politically as my brother Troy Will in the chat is, but I'm no fool either. So yesterday we had a Asian brother come in, and he was. I invited him to come hang out with us this evening. I don't know if he'll show up or not, but his stance was he thinks what they're doing to the Somalis are wrong, and you're entitled to that. And he pretty much supports them, and you're entitled to do that. But what I don't, and I'm not saying that this young man, I don't know how old he was, I didn't ask, but I'm not saying that he was doing that yesterday, but what I've been finding is that there have been other ethnicities looking at Black Americans like, why aren't we rolling in the street and forming like Voltron to protect them? And that's what I let them know. Obviously, you're not educated on the lack of unity on their end, because I just said, I have roots in the South. Brother Reef, salute. I have roots in the South. I have family in the Midwest. I have family in the South. I can count on one hand how many times a white person called me a nigger, on one hand, and I'm 50 years old. Guess who's called me out my name and told me to go back to Africa and treated me like crap more than those crackers? It was the others. There was foreign Latinos. It was Asians. And it was Euro white people with accents, English accents, Irish accents, that have called me out my name. Okay? More so from them. Indians from the Middle East. And it was frustrating because I look at that and I say, well, I'll be damned. What makes you think you have white privilege here? They literally come over here, and by the way, the Africans too, literally come over here and act like they're better than us because of the things that they hear in their country about us. Meanwhile, Black Americans are the most influential Blacks in the world. The most influential. Every time I turn around, everybody's trying to be like us. Koreans are expert breakdancers now. I'm like, wow, we was doing that in '84. Now they're spinning on their head and all kinds of stuff. That's all us. Hip hop is a culture. Who started that? In my borough, right here in the Bronx. That's us. Rap music, that's us. Now they rapping in Japanese and Russian, Yugoslavian. That's us. That's us. Those Somalis that have systematically juiced the system out of millions of dollars, that's not us. Because you see, us as Tariq Nasheed calls it, foundational Black Americans. I like that term. We don't have access to these loans and grants that the foreigners come. The foreigners come over here and they know just how to milk the system by the time they get here. I'm trying to, give it the good old live by the good old American way. I need a grant. I need housing. And we give. And where in our own hood, the empty space, we're like, you know what? We should put a fruit and vegetable store there, a mom and pop store. We can't get no loans or anything. But Ho Sung Pak from Korea could come over here. They'll give him a business loan. They don't give a fuck about his credit. And now he's in the middle of our hood selling us fruits and vegetables. And then when we go in his store, he's eyeballing us. And then we can't get no loans. We don't have access to the same things that America gives them access to. So they come in here thinking they're better than us, and they got the nerve to call us lazy after we done built this country for over 400 years. We worked for free for over 400 years. And now we're like, no, you got to pay us for what you owe. That's why we talk about reparations. That's why we talk about systematic racism. We talk about how the CIA put guns and drugs in our neighborhoods. That was all proven. And then first when they go from denying that it happened to, okay, it happened, then they go to, you didn't have to sell the drugs. Well, guess what? The whole neighborhood didn't sell the drugs. It was a handful of knuckle draggers. And some of them were CIA plants. LeRon in the building, broken tradition, salute. Some of them were CIA plants themselves. They don't want to talk about what really happened in Chicago. I have family that lives over there. Guns popping up in alleys. Guns on one block and then 3 blocks in the other direction, a whole crate of ammunition. How'd that get there? Kids running the street with firearms that weren't sold at gun stores. Enoch, salute. How'd they get a hold of military-issued firearms? How'd that happen? They were put there. Rod Neal, salute. So all of these things we have to deal with. And when we ask for a specific bill, we get laughed at. The pandemic comes through. A few Asians get beat up. And just like that, they get a fucking bill. Just like that. Barney Prince, salute. And then they want to say we complain so much. So this elderly man named, I don't even know his name, but I'm going to play for you the newsreel. I need you to listen.
Following some breaking news now in San Francisco, the verdict is in. After just hours of deliberations, a jury reached a mixed verdict in the trial of the man charged with killing a beloved San Francisco man known as Grandpa Vicha. NBC's Christy Smith joined.
Grandpa Vicha. Now, I saw this and I was disgusted, but let me let this play.
It's now in the city. Christy, Vicha's family members, I believe, shocked by this verdict. What can he tell us?
Well, the family of Vicha Ratana Pakti deeply disappointed, they're saying, by this verdict tonight. But they're also saying that they were not very surprised after learning the 24-year-old defendant was convicted on involuntary manslaughter and assault charges, but found not guilty of murder and elder abuse charges that he also faced.
They said they was not surprised. Just keep listening.
Montanus Ratana Pakti, the daughter of 84-year-old victim, beloved, known as Grandpa Vicha, spoke with reporters outside the court after the verdict was read late this afternoon. This was a case that really became a flashpoint for the movement to stop Asian hate.
To stop Asian hate. Now, maybe I'm missing something. I live in New York. Stop Asian hate. Maybe I live in a place where they were just jumping out on them and beating their ass. Y'all let me know. That wasn't happening in New York. But I'll continue.
In 2021, Watson slammed Vicha to the ground in an unprovoked attack on the streets of San Francisco. Vicha lost consciousness and never recovered, dying days later. Now, the case is unique because the entire attack was caught on camera, and the defendant, Antoine Watson, didn't deny he did it, but his attorney argued that he lacked the state of mind and intent needed to be convicted of murder in the first or second degree.
He lacked the state of mind or intent to make this murder in the first. I disagree with that, but go ahead.
They also argued he didn't know the man was 84 years old.
I don't care if you didn't know the man was 84 years old. But let's go ahead.
Vicha's family says they're devastated.
Our family will grieving and, even disappointed and painful. But as me, as a daughter, I can speak up for my father, and I'm going to commit to working for our community for dignity and safety, for public safety in San Francisco and everywhere. And I believe in everyone to be safe, walk on the street.
Now, the question now is how long Watson will get in prison. The maximum sentence for involuntary manslaughter is 4 years, but he's already spent 5 in jail awaiting.
The maximum is 4 years. We already spent 5 awaiting trial.
Now, the DA's office here in San Francisco issued a statement today saying that the jury is now being asked to return on January 26 to hear arguments on aggravating factors in the case. Depending on the results of that hearing, years could be added to Watson's sentence.
All right. Let's deal with that. First and foremost, this is a still shot of him running up on Vicha. Let me be very clear. I don't co-sign any of that. Hannibal, salute. I don't co-sign any of that. I think that little mofo should be getting at least 20 years starting. He ran up on homie and killed him. And it doesn't matter whether he knew he was 84 or not. You should see the video. He just ran up on him and chest bumped him and knocked him over and ran off. So let me just get that out the way and say that. That little MF that he was 21 years old or 20 years old when he did this, I don't care. Start him off with 20 to life. That was unprovoked and he was being stupid. I bet you that was a TikTok video until they found out, yo, dude died. And he absolutely knew it was an old man. Do you think he'd have ran up on any of us? A young buck? No. Well, I'm not a young buck, but no one, I promise you, that knockout game, I swear to God, I was walking outside looking for it. Looking for it. Yep. Walk up on me. See what's going to happen to you. There's going to be a knockout. My pops, I said, you good? He said, you know I'm good. My pops carries. He will blow your eyeballs out the back of your fitted cap and not think twice. Bang, and it'll be over for you. So we Gucci over here. But there's a lot of people not so much. So this fool-ass ape needs to be in the zoo with the rest of the apes. And now all apes are black. But his black ass committed a murder. I don't claim him. Now, do I like that outcome? No, I don't. I don't. I can't stand it. But these are things that they use to justify a whole bill for Asian hate. Let me ask you a question. Where's our bill? Did we ever have one? Somebody educate me. Somebody educate me. Did we ever have a nonviolent bill? Stop beating up on blacks. We have a history of recorded situations where we should have had something by now. something. We don't have a bill. It's so bad that we got this cracker with a mustache running around calling us chimps on his social media with that dumbass mustache. And the word was, I'm like, yo, how's he getting away with this? You know why? Wherever he was doing that, he lets the people know that he has a firearm on him before he puts his camera on. I don't know if it's a concealed carry or where he's at, where it's a public carry, an open carry. But if it's concealed carry and someone knows, and see, this is something I want to say. If he's in a state where it's a concealed carry, but people say, nah, I saw the gun, they're not supposed to know he has that gun. All they have to do is say he flashed on me, then he went live and started calling me all kinds of niggas. He's in violation. They could go and take his firearm from him because he's in violation. Concealed carry means you have it for self-defense or defense of a third party, but no one's supposed to know you have it. That's the difference between concealed carry and open carry. So I really wanted to know where he lives. Is it an open carry state? But that's something else. But we have no bills. You ask any Asian who stands on that bill and uses what happened to Grandpa Vicha as a reason, saying, see, we need this because y'all do this. No. We don't do this. That monkey was an animal. I don't claim that clown. Black people that I know, that I frequent, don't do that. They don't do that. So you ask the next Asian that talks about how bad we are and how they need the bill. And when you say, well, what about black people's bill? And they undermined it. We asked them who Latasha Harlins is. And that's why I wanted my Asian buddy to pop up today, because maybe he didn't know. I told him I want to have this conversation today. Who does not know who Latasha Harlin is? Who doesn't know? Because we're going to talk about it. And what's ill is that what happened to Latasha Harlin happened around the same time the Rodney King incident happened. It was around the same time. I'll read it to you. Latasha Harlins was a 15-year-old African-American girl who was shot and killed over a $1.79 bottle of orange juice in a liquor store in South Central LA, March 16th of 1991. I was in high school when this happened. The incident involved a confrontation with the store owner, Soon Ja-do, a Korean woman who shot Harlins in the back of the head. Now, if you shoot someone in the back of the head right away, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That means they were walking away or running away. Do you know you're not supposed to shoot anybody when they're running away? You know why? That means they're not a deadly threat to you. That's why police officers are not allowed to shoot you when you're running away. The only way they take a shot is if, for example, you have an instrument in your hand. You go to flinch at the cop, he goes to pull out his firearm, then you turn around and start dipping. He's no longer a threat to you. But now you're running up the block and you bashing people with the object. Boom, boom, boom. Knocked over an old man. Boom. Hit a little girl. Boom. Now he could take the shot. And that's still a risk because he can miss and hit somebody else. But he'll be in court saying, yo, look, he was hitting people upside the head. He hit 3 people. So I had to stop him, and he was 20 feet away. So I took the shot, it nicked him, and it hit this other guy in the goddamn face. And I'm sorry, but I had to do something. You know he's going to get off because he acted within the guidelines of his rules and regulations. That's just how it is. Of course, the police department will cut the family a check. Of course they will. But you have to listen. When you draw your firearm, it has to be a justified shot. With police officers, there's force options. You have to exhaust all of them, and the last force option is deadly physical force. Now, when you're a civilian and you have a permit to carry, similar rules apply. But it's your duty to walk away from a situation. You don't jump bad in a road rage incident just because you have your firearm on you. You don't do that. That's stupid. You don't become 8 feet tall when you're really 4'11", but you got a legal carry on you. That's not what this is. You're supposed to leave a situation. When you see it escalating, you leave. It takes a bigger man with no ego to say, you know what? You got it, man. Wasn't I just talking about road rage on my boxing channel? How you can go 0 to 100? You ain't gonna win all of those. Just leave. Now, if you leave, what did I tell you happened? I pulled into the gas station. I wasn't even paying attention. I pulled to the motherfucking gas station and he pulled up. And I looked, I said, oh man, that's homie. But I needed gas. And I said, if I get in the car and leave, I don't know where the next gas station is. And he jumped out his truck, short dude, and then I got out. There you're saying salute. And I got out and he was like, I told you, he was like 5'4", 5'5", maybe 5'6". And he's looking up at me. His girlfriend jumps out, get back in the car, get back in the car. He knew it was real. And all of a sudden the road rage went away. Now, 2 things. I could have stretched him. Actually, in hindsight, I let him get too close to me. But when I jumped out, I had a little Mitsubishi Galant at the time. When I jumped out, he stopped. And I'm looking down at him. Like, yo, what the fuck you doing, bro? His girl said, get back in the car. He turned around, got back in the truck, and he just left. Snapped out of it. 2 things. If I put hands on him, he was not winning. And also, guess what? Your choice. And he made the correct choice. He got back in his, I forgot what he was driving. And whatever he was driving, it was nice, though. I think it was a Yukon. It was nice. He got back in his shit and he left. End of. But the thing was, I wasn't looking for any smoke. I got shit to lose out here. And I don't have time to be sitting up in a courtroom talking about, yo, I had to shoot him, send him ass because, he was doing this and that. No, I leave a lot of situations. I really do. Not that that happens every day, but I've left a few in my lifetime. Like, man, I ain't dealing with this. I've literally left situations while I'm leaving. Like, yo, you effing pussy. Okay. Say what you want. Because I know what I'm capable of. I know that. It's called being an adult, but I just want to share that with you. So this woman, Soon Ja-do, Korean woman, she shot Harlins in the back of the head. And that's what my point was. That means even if Latasha stole a bottle of orange juice, did that warrant her death? Shot her in the back of the head, which means she was leaving. And the act was captured on security video. This event occurred shortly after the beating of Rodney King by police. I just said that. Intensifying existing racial tensions between African Americans and Korean Americans in the area. During the trial, Harlan's family faced dismissive remarks from the presiding judge, who suggested that the tragedy could have been avoided if Harlins had not entered the store. Now you see that right there. You see that shit? You see that? These are the things we dealt with. We're dealing with foreigners that don't treat us good. We're dealing with white Americans that don't treat us good. Latin Americans that don't treat us good. Systematic racism, drugs in our community, guns in our community. We didn't do that. They did that to us. And then when we're done a disservice, we got to go to court and deal with a racist judge. His ideology was, if she hadn't have gone in the store, that wouldn't have happened. Exactly, Jose. They treat black Americans like we're the foreigners after we done built a majority of this country. And what thanks do we get? No reparations. Y'all ever Googled how many black people been shot? Unarmed by police, unarmed black people been shot and killed? Y'all saw the movie Fruitville Station? I fucking cried. That's our reality. And then when we talk about shit like that, what do other ethnicities tell us? You're complaining. That's not everybody. How are you behaving when this happens? With all the data that you have, with all of these things on the internet, to be stupid is a fucking choice at this point. Now, if you can say Grandpa Vic was murdered, and he was, if you can agree with that, why I gotta fuss with you about Emmett Till? What was the name of the young homie that got shot in what was that, in Cleveland? He had a toy gun in the park. Police rolled up, jumped right out, and blicked him off. What was that young man's name? He was a little boy. Shot him dead. Cop got off, didn't he? Who called the police on him? A Karen. Kid in the park waving a gun. He pulled up. Tamir Rice, thank you. He pulled up and lit him up. Kid didn't even have a chance. And by the book, it was a justified shooting because the cop thought he had a firearm. You see that? Do you think if that was a fucking white kid, you think they'd have extended a lot more courtesy? They'd have pulled up and looked. What does he have? Oh, that's a toy gun. Hey, kid, just throw that down for a minute. Not Tamir Rice. These darkies don't get extended any fucking courtesy, right? So please talk to me about an Asian bill right now, please. Everybody hates ICE. Did we look up how many black women were killed, how many black people were killed by illegal immigrants? And I'm not saying all of the illegals do shit like that, but y'all do know ICE exists for a reason, right? Are they overdoing it? Yes. Now, Song, don't worry about it, because you know what? You didn't do that. That woman did that. You didn't do that. That's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not apologizing. You new here, brother, but here's what I say. Every nigga in jail is not Nelson Mandela. Some of these niggas need to be in jail. This motherfucker that did that to Grandpa Vic, I don't claim him. I like to announce a trade, and he need to be under the prison. He had no business doing that. Fuck him. And he did it because he knew that was an old man. But whatever lawyer he got was able to convince he didn't know it was an old man. He probably had some clothes on. He would not have run over somebody that was his peer and did that, because that person would have fought him back. Grandpa Vic was an old 84-year-old man, and what happened. He was frail, he hit his head, and he died. That's murder. I don't claim that dude. I don't claim him. I hope he goes to prison and some Korean gang beat the shit out of him. That's what I want for him. I hope they beat him every day so bad that he can't take it and they have to have him on suicide watch. I don't claim this motherfucker. But on the flip side, yeah, I'm talking. My community doesn't get extended that same courtesy at all. We don't. We don't. We can't even get reparations. Where's our hate crime bill? We should have been there, had that since the early 1900s, man. What are they going to tell us? Oh, man, you guys got emancipated. That's all you need. I literally hear these crackers tell me, oh, there's no more racism. Y'all had a black president. What the fuck? For 8 years, Obama was fighting for everything he tried to get done. They fought him every step of the way. They fought that man. These MS-13 Latino gangs, none of these motherfuckers are citizens. Man, right here, some illegals jumped on some NYPD, 2 NYPD officers, and I think one of them was a sergeant. You know what happened with them? They got locked up and sent somewhere, but they were still, I don't know where they're at now, but they were still here. I'm like, what the fuck? And I saw the video. I said, nah, man, that couldn't have been nobody I used to work with. But, you know, it was a while ago. The guys I know would have got up and got to dumping on them and explained it later. Because when you don't defend yourself, you know what happens? That. And all of those illegals thought it was cool. What about that Venezuelan dude singing on TikTok, telling people how to squat in houses and take advantage of the laws? This is the shit we was dealing with. And we're looking at online like, yo, what are we going to do about this? You mean to tell me if I go on a month-long vacation with my family, and the day I leave, one of these illegals break into my place, and I come back 4 weeks later, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Get out. They have rights? No, listen, how about this? I ain't calling the police. A Bronx tale. Now you can't leave. They will be chained up in the basement. Storm me in the building. They'll be chained up in the basement. Now you can't leave. And when I do decide to let you go, you better not say anything. Sometimes you got to match the ignorance with the ignorance. I don't like getting like that, but you know, eye for an eye type shit. 2 wrongs don't make it right, but it damn sure makes it even, doesn't it? Oh, I know, Brother Reef. I saw that. So these are the things so when people ask, why is ICE existing? Yeah, y'all have short-term memories. So to a degree, they need to be around. ATX, salute. They need to be around. But the fact that they're hiring these idiots, that's something else. 6 weeks training to give someone a firearm? No. No. Absolutely not. But anyway, back to what I'm talking about here with this person. The judge pretty much blamed the dead woman, the dead teenager, Latasha Harlins. It says Soon Jabdu was convicted of voluntary manslaughter but received probation, a verdict that sparked outrage within the African American community and led to increased hostility towards Korean-owned businesses. Here's how you handle that. They set up shop in your neighborhood. Bankrupt them. Don't spend a dime in there. You ain't got to burn them out. Don't shop there. Don't shop there. It is your right to protest in front of their store. You ain't got to touch them. You put up picket signs and say, don't shop here. The motherfuckers in here killed that little girl. Shot in the back of the head in cold blood. Don't shop here. That's it. You bankrupt them. Because I don't see all these fruit and vegetable stores. No black person owns these fucking places. And we should. But we can't get no bank loans. They let the foreigners come here legally, and they open them shop in our neighborhoods. And then when we go shop there, they look down on us. Y'all remember Menace to Society? Y'all remember the opening scene? I feel sorry for your mother. What you say about my mama? Bang. Y'all don't know how powerful that scene was. You know why? Shit like that was happening all around the country. Not the murder part, though. I told y'all the story about the Korean store around my way. I know I shared this before, but it bears repeating because it's all relevant. For years, there was a Korean store across the street from my crib in a little shopping center. All right? Used to be a short Asian lady with a Korean lady with black hair and glasses, whatever. Every morning we went in there to get our school, candy, lemon heads, the Charlie Chans, the blow pops, whatever the hell, quarter waters, all the stuff that probably gave us hypertension and diabetes today, right? Now me and my black and brown friends were going there. Every aisle we went to, you look up in the goddamn mirror, old Miss Lee, that's what everyone called her, old Miss Lee, was watching us. You know who she wasn't watching? My boy Larry, my boy David, and this other chick named Sophia. Sophia, she was Irish, she had red hair. We paid for everything we ever went in there and bought. And when we got to the cashier, she would always be screaming and cussing at us. Where you want? Come on, you have to go to school. Where you? Hurry up, hurry up. My 3 white friends will walk right out the door. And she's pushing the stuff. They didn't want to give us a bag. We just got used to it. Just grab your stuff. Oh, go. Get out. When we got to the hill to go to school, they pulling out big crates of orange juice. My boy Larry had a whole pack of Oscar Mayer bologna, opens it up and starts throwing it at us, frisbee. They got her at least 3 times a week for like food, and we're buying candy. She followed us, not my 3 white friends, and they were the ones getting her ass. So, years later, I'm grown. That store's still there. Things got moved around, but that store's still there. And by the way, there was a kid there that was our age, but we didn't see him until after school, and he was always behind the cash register doing his homework. He didn't go to school with us, but he was our age, right? Forgot his name, right? Years later, I'm with the kids now. I got shorties of my own. The kids want a snack or whatever. I said, let me go to this store. I go to the fucking store, and I see homie. Now we all grown. I saw him. I said, hey, man, what's up? I gave him a dap. My face ain't changed much. He knows who I am. Hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Grandma Lee is there. She's still, now I'm a lot taller. She's there. Now she got hair. Her hair's gray, but now she's kind of like hunched over now. But it's her. So I say, yo, kids, go get what you want. They run to the juice section to grab a juice. And I'm just standing there. And I notice now she following my shorties. I'm like, so I walk down the aisle because it's the freezer section and the juices, and it goes like that. So I walk down the aisle because I wanted something to drink. I look up, she following me. So the kids got what they want. We go to the cashier. And she right behind the shorties. So I look at homie. And I said, bro, listen. I put the stuff on the goddamn counter. Yeah, saying it's in NYC. I live in the Bronx. I put the shit on the counter and I look at her and like a robot. Now she got Coke bottle glass. She looks up at me with that same mean face. I look at him. I said, bro, I ain't buying this shit, bro. I said, come on, man. It's 30 years later. She's still doing this. And he kind of like smirked like, yeah, yo, listen, bro, I understand. And he started talking to her in his native tongue and she snapped at him. Look, I don't know if she caught niggas stealing in there. She never caught me. I live in a community. Why the fuck would I do that? Everybody in the community goes there. None of my black friends ever stole from her. I can say that. 3 of my white friends, one lived in San Francisco, the other one moved to Florida, and we lost track of Sophia. By the time we got to junior high school, she was, 6th grade. I don't know where they went. They gone. I never stole anything from that woman. But you know what happened? I was conditioned. I'm gonna go to that store. I've been going there since I was a kid. Oh, she's following the kids around. I just normalized. And I said, whoa. See, before when I was younger, I thought I didn't have a choice. And I really didn't. But that happened a few years ago. I was like 41, 42 when that happened. I was like, no. I said, you know what? And I left the shit there, and homie understood. You know why? I'm not the person that did that shit. I said, man, no. I said, bro, I can't buy nothing from here, bro. And I dapped it up with him, and he understood. And he started talking to his grandma. Hey, don't, whatever they were talking. I said, bro, man, I'll catch you later, man. And I left. Kids was like, Daddy. I said, no. Listen. We went to the supermarket. I got them some juice. I bought some plastic cups, and they drank it from there. I paid a little extra for it. I didn't care. You're in my fucking neighborhood, been making a living here for years. That store's open because of we're Patreons. And you treating me crazy. I'll have none of it. Take your ass back to Seoul. Don't let me find out you was from North Korea. What? Why are you coming to my neighborhood treating me crazy? Now, there was a other Korean-owned store, and that guy sold odds and ends. He sold like hats, T-shirts, toys. He was mad cool. But that bitch, now, I think they sold the spot because there's some Arabs in it now. And they're cool. But I don't give a fuck about her. But this is what we dealt with. They give these loans to these foreigners. They come in our neighborhood. They say if you live in New York, here's a guarantee. In every hood, there's a Chinese restaurant. Now, the latest phenomenon in the last 20 years was the chicken spots. There's always a chicken spot owned by the Indians or the Arabs. There's a bodega. Not all of them are owned by Spanish people anymore. There are Indians in there too. There's a liquor store. And there's like a fruits and vegetable store owned by, they're not Americans that own that fucking place. And I'm like, yo, they say, why don't you open up businesses? Because we can't get no loans, even if we got an 800 middle credit score. We can't get no business loans. People come here and they want to, make the good old American way. They get these grants. I'm a foreigner. I get a grant. I get to go to school and we don't have access to none of that shit. Meanwhile, we built this bitch. Then a white man wants to come and say, hey, man, every man could stand on their own 2 feet. Excuse me? Let me tell you something. I don't care if you're white American or if you're white American, you're of European descent. All you did was stand on the necks of everybody else, especially in this country. This is red ground. What are you talking about? And that's the fucked up thing. Say that all men are created equal and every man should be able to stand on their own too, when all these white motherfuckers did was stand on our necks to get yours. And you listen to some white supremacists, you know what they say? That's just what we do. We come and show you the way. You're made to serve us. You got to be kidding me. And that's what it is to be white in this world. Hustle a fucking country and then mystify the whole process as if everyone else is lazy. And what's messed up is you get other ethnicities that come to America and they develop that mindset. They come over here, black Americans bad, black Americans and bad. So these goddamn Somalis, they look down on black people. That fool that was on there talking about somebody broke into their what is it? Somebody broke into their daycare and stole the paperwork. Who the fuck breaks into a daycare to steal paperwork? And they were like, look at his glasses. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Come to find out he had like $2,000-$3,000 frames on his face. And then they found his Instagram. He's in ripped jeans in front of a Mercedes-Benz with rolls of money up his arms with his buck teeth out. In the club. Somalians don't do that. You know who I've seen do that? Black Americans. So you hate us, but you love our quote-unquote culture. And guess what? I don't celebrate that culture. That's a handful of ignorant niggas that do that. Flashing money. Remember that little thing they were doing a couple of years ago? That was like every now and again, you know, these classless kids, you know, they get a roll of money and they start counting it in front of the camera. Yo, check this out. You know how many cats I saw doing that shit? That flex with the money? They don't do it no more. But it was like not too long ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. Yo, check this out. If you lived anywhere on Southern Boulevard in the Bronx doing that, I don't care how much money you had in your hand. You live on Southern fucking Boulevard. If y'all don't know, just look it up. It's the South Bronx. And I know they built some new houses over there and, you know, it's becoming gentrified, but these niggas don't live in those new houses. They live in the old shit with the first 3 steps of the house broke up. But you got fan money in your hands. And these Somalis came in and they played just like that. And then when ICE comes kicking in your door and people start investigating your faulty business practices and they start kicking y'all ass, all of a sudden, black Americans come. Nope. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone. Because you know what came with that? All of those videos y'all were doing that I didn't see until recently. From 2021. I am not black. We are not black. We Somali. We are Middle Eastern Muslims. We are not black. With your long ditty looking nose. Okay. That's how it is. All right. Who am I to argue with you? And let me tell you something. They ain't the only motherfuckers that did that. I know black Puerto Ricans. I know black Dominicans. My boy Delano, not Delano that be in the chat, my boy Delano is Panamanian. He speaks English as his second language. He looks like a taller version of Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's cool, but you know how many Latinos told me that they're not black? I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean you're not black? No, man. No, man. I mean Dominican, man. Oh, my God. We doing this? All right. You go ahead. ICE is in Washington Heights right now. Right now. What's Washington Heights? That's a Dominican neighborhood. Amsterdam Avenue. Washington Heights. That's a Dominican neighborhood. Good luck. Right now, they in their crib practicing because they're proud of their Dominican English accent. They're proud of that. They're proud of that. Right now, they're in their house trying to get rid of it. I just saw a video of a Latin dude with a dreadlock wig talking about ICE is in my neighborhood. I got to act like I'm black now. Good luck. Good luck. ICE could stop me all day. And what it is that being that us African Americans, I'm sorry, because Africans don't even want to call us African Americans, us Black Americans, now Trump got his foot up everybody's ass. They're looking at us as tiebreakers? No. We have our own fucking problems. I've watched foreigners say that no, Black Americans shouldn't get reparations. I've heard other ethnicities say, no, they've been asked, what do you think about Black Americans get reparations? No. Meanwhile, you've gotten government grants, government loans. Y'all gone to school for free and all kinds of shit. You don't want us to get reparations? I remember they were arguing about reparations in California. And this Black woman got into an argument because I don't know why I forgot what the situation was, but she let her daughter speak at a conference or something they were having. And it wasn't conducive to what they were trying to do. And they say, yo, look, man, take the mic from her. And the mother got mad. And it was a meeting about reparations. The mother got mad. And I'm like, why is she getting mad? Her daughter, because she said somebody disrespected her daughter. And I think the daughter was underage or something. I was like, why does she have the mic anyway? Go get her out the way. We're trying to work here. And then when the mother got mad, what do you think happened? What happens when people that speak English that are not really from here, when you get them pissed off, don't their native tongue come out? All of a sudden, you found out that she was Jamaican. I was like, oh, why is she on the board voting on Black Americans getting reparations? Why is she there? She's not Black. Let's be clear. You're not FBA. You're not foundational Black American. You're Jamaican. You're not foundational Black American. You're Haitian. You're Dominican. Those Black Puerto Ricans, they're getting right. All the Puerto Rican brothers from Bejamun, they're getting it right now. The International Quiet Storm salute, man. He says the people get mad at us veterans. We get benefits. I look at them and ask, what are you doing when I was in the bunker taking rockets and missiles? Thank you. Oh, the veterans, they don't need, shut up. Shut up. I told you I had two friends that went over there. One ain't come home. Hit a landmine. Over. Disintegrated. He had no body to come home. My other boy came home missing a thumb. And guess what? We all were on our way to enlist. I got halfway there and got cold feet. I said, you know what? Fuck that. I ain't doing that. They was like, you sure? We can get a free ride through college? I said, you know what? No. I'm gonna go ahead home. I'm gonna go to the club tonight. That's what I did. And you know what happened later on that year? Desert Storm. I ain't talking about Tim Bradley. I'm talking about Bush #1. The first Iraqi war. And my boys end up going down there. See? And I said, oh my God, what the fuck? Chickened out. I'll tell you straight up. So I don't beef when veterans say we need this, we need that. Give it to them. Give it to them. They deserve it. I think veterans, they shouldn't have to worry about food or housing. And since we have the technology of cell phones now, they shouldn't have to worry about food, housing, their internet bill, or their phones. Or the government should pick up those 4 things. And that's it. Pick your carrier. Give them the best carrier. And thank you for your service, International Quiet Storm. Thank you. They shouldn't have to pay for any of that. Food, clothing, housing, internet, cell phone. 5 things that should be free if you serve this country. That's it. Anything else on top of that should be extra. Niggas over there eating rockets and you want to deny them shit? Get out of here, man. Give them everything. Anyway, back to this situation. A All right, so Latasha Harlins was murdered over a $1.79 bottle of orange juice. And Jadu, she was found guilty of voluntary manslaughter, but Judge Carlin granted the defendant probation. This decision, all right, it pissed us off. Okay, y'all can look it up. All right. And this was happening around the same time the Rodney King situation happened. And it was disgusting. And salute to the International Quiet Storm and that Cash App, man. Much love and appreciation. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for everything you do. For those of you that don't know, I'm honored when Quiet Storm shows up. He's an original moderator for the late, great Kevin Samuels. If y'all didn't know. He was an original moderator for, he was a wrench on Kevin Samuels' channel. So when he showed up on Pep Talk, I was like, oh, shit. So salute to you, brother. I appreciate you. So that happened. Was there ever a conversation about a crime bill for black people? No. Because we don't matter. We don't matter in the eyes of anybody, in the eyes of white America, and the foreigners that come here. They want white privilege, and then they treat us like how the white folks treat us. So we don't matter. That was the original meaning behind Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter didn't mean we only matter and fuck everybody else. Black Lives Matter meant we matter also. We matter too. Why are we always left out? That's what it meant. But you know, people, anything a black person does is taken out of context. That's where the white lives matter came out. Now, y'all lives always matter. Police lives matters. We never said it didn't. We could pull up a list of how many black people around this country have been shot unarmed. How much time have the cops actually done? The biggest one was George Floyd's situation. That's it. But Latasha Harlins was murdered. Okay? She was murdered. And nothing was done. The judge actually said, well, she shouldn't have been in the store. Excuse me? So now, today, I just did some research because I can go on and on about all of this. The Asians have a bill, but according to the analysis, the data of mapping of police violence, Asian people were 0.3 times less likely than white people to be killed by police. So they don't catch it like we catch it. Now, I know there'll be some Asians that say, well, we don't do what you do. Well, what the fuck do we do? Wear a hood in a neighborhood? When did that become illegal? How often in the 90s were Asians stopped, questioned, and frisked during the Giuliani era? When you stop, question, and frisk somebody, you know you're supposed to write down who you stop, question, and frisked, their ID name or whatever, and you're supposed to put it into a file. They weren't even doing that, and they were supposed to. I want to know how many Asians during the Giuliani era were stopped, questioned, and frisked. You understand? So what do we do? Just Google the list of how many black people were killed by police officers over the decades. What about black people that were killed by civilians or just assaulted by civilians? Brooklyn, Yusuf Hawkins, and Bensonhurst, an Italian neighborhood with Paulie Malignaggi. is from. Hey, Paulie. Hey, Paulie. That motherfucker's from over there. Y'all know about the Yusuf Hawkins situation? Just Google it. I ain't going to tell y'all tonight. I'll give you the short version. He was in that neighborhood. I think he was going to see a girl, and those guineas chased him out of there, and he was killed. He was killed. And why is it that every time something happens to a black person, they say, well, what did we do? The Crown Heights incident. What did you hear happen with the Crown Heights incident? What did you hear happen? Because I could tell you what happened. But what did you hear? A lot of y'all not even in New York. But what did you hear happen in the Crown Heights incident? Brother wants to know, what's your experience with people who are half black and half Asian, such as Korean? Do they accept their black side and do? I grew up in New York, and one of my boys' name is Daryl. You know, I didn't know he was black and Japanese until I met his mom. Hey, who's that? That's my mother. That's your mother? And I looked at him. I said, shit. I just thought you had slaying eyes and curly hair. I thought he was mixed with some sort of Latin. His father met his mom in the military in Tokyo and took her home. Made Daryl. And he spoke Japanese. I said, when the fuck? I didn't know. I said, how come I didn't know this? He said, why would I be speaking Japanese around y'all motherfuckers? I said, well, that's true. You mean to tell me you don't need subtitles when you watch Japanimation? He says, no. You fucking idiot. You should have been teaching us this shit. New York is different. It's a melting pot. And to be very blunt, there's not that many people that can say they're 100% black, because somewhere in their bloodline, there's somebody there that's not 100% black. Well, majority of us are black, but a lot of cats are not 100%. But my boy claims his black side, but he obviously, I didn't know. You know, we in the summertime, everybody broke out. If you're black, you got family in the South or in the Midwest. We always broke out down South or went to the Midwest. I had family in Mississippi, had family in Illinois, had family in North and South Carolina. You know what I mean? Built some property, had some property in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, Dad was going to fucking Tokyo. You know, but people that are mixed, it's not only Asians, there's a lot of people that are mixed. We don't care. And like I'm saying, it's like we don't, you know who gives us the problems? And you know who gives my mixed friends the problems? The half that they are mixed with the black. It's not the black giving them the problems. It's the other half giving them the problems. My boy Daryl, he said he don't like talking to, he said over in Japan, he's fascinating because he's mixed. But in the city, he said he's gone up to Japanese people and spoke to them. And they look at him like, huh? What? And he said they treat him different. I got Italian American friends that told me I don't like dealing with Italians that come off the boat over here. They look at me funny. I said, what you mean? Sorry, Americano. Americano. I was like, what's that? I'm not them. My parents are, but I was born here. And I'm hanging with you. I'm hanging with you. I'm hanging with you. I hang around black people, Puerto Rican people. So I'm not them. Although they're fluent in the language. They speak the language. So all of my buddies that were mixed, the problem that they had was with their own. Wasn't us. Mansa Musa, Tone, what up? Fire Beast, what up? Wasn't us. It'd be with them. And shit, that's rough on them. That's rough. But I understand. You know why? I said earlier, Africans come here, and I'm not saying all of them, because I got African friends too. But I just said, some of the biggest racists that I have dealt with, a lot of them weren't even white. A lot of them were not even white. That's real shit. They were not even white. I literally worked with an African dude, and he got mad because I kept calling him brother. And I didn't think nothing of it. Good morning, brother. I call everybody brother. What's going on, brother? Where we working at today, brother? Yo, bro, let's go over here. One day he said, I need you to stop that. Stop what? And he was annoyed. I looked around like, stop what? I am not your brother. Stop calling me brother, please. You are my co-worker, my brother at home. And I said, oh, shit. He wasn't annoyed that I was just saying brother. He was very specific. I am not your brother. Flag on the play. I said, you know what? You're right. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. I ain't treat him any different. I just left brother off it. Morning. There was no more smiling around him though. I like to keep it up, like upbeat around people I work with. And this dude was from Ghana somewhere. I said, all right, cool. I just said good morning to him. I ain't smiled as much. I said, man, all right, well, fuck this nigga. Because guess what? Well, I'll leave that for Patreon. I ain't do nothing to him, but I ain't do nothing for him. And I'm going to tell you this. In the 90s, Halloween would be kind of wild out in the streets. In the 90s, it's not wild like that anymore, but in the 90s, you know, if you wasn't about that action, you might want to be in the house at a certain hour in Halloween, because the goons will come out. And we got let out of work, I was good walking home. I was good wherever I go. I look for the smoke. That's just how I was. And where I worked, I used to work at a Kmart. That wasn't far from where I lived. I was walking home. He had to walk to the he had to walk to the bus. And he ain't make it. They closed up those doors. I was like, all right, I'm walking. Those goons ran right past me. As a matter of fact, one of them said, yo, what up? So it was one of these young niggas that lived around my way. So they said, what up to me? I looked. I knew they weren't coming for me. They ran right past me with the Freddy Krueger mask and the Jason mask. And I kept walking. All I heard was, oh! And they chasing him around a lot, tackled him, put shaving cream on him and threw eggs in his face. They ain't beat him up. They violated him, though. I just turned around. Yeah, have a good night. It's not like that was my brother. Something else happened, but I'll save that for Patreon. And me and my boy, we came to work the next day. Was like, I know this motherfucker ain't gonna come in talking about why we ain't help. I know. And when he came in, he knew not to say anything because he didn't come in for the rest of that week. We told the shorties what happened. It was like, yo, I forgot that motherfucker name too. But he was an asshole, bro. And I took that personal. I need you to stop that. Like, he was annoyed with it. I need you to stop that. I was like, I looked down, I said, stop. I'm looking around like, stop what? Dude, I'm not your brother. You keep saying brother. I am not your brother. And he's looking up at me. I am not your brother. Why do you call me brother? I am not your brother. I said, no, bro, it's just a figure of speech, man. We all brothers and sisters in the eyes of God, and your brother. My brother is at home. You are not my brother. We come from Ghana. He hit me with that shit. We come from Ghana. We come here. But you are not my brother. I said, oh, shit. I wanted to punch him in the forehead. I said, okay. I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. You right. He had an attitude for the rest of the day. I said, no problem. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about it no more. A couple of months later, it was Halloween. And he got violated in the parking lot. I was cool. Those were the real YNs. I was walking. You said, who that? And they kind of like crossed the street. I said, all right, they ain't coming for us. It's like 7 of them, but we were significantly bigger than them. It was like, yo, it's gonna be who this gonna be. We looked, they walked, and one of them looked. It was like, yo. We was like, all right, what up? So I don't know exactly who it was, but I knew that they were from the block. That's why I'm looking like, oh, okay, I don't know exactly who that was, and then I heard, I turned around, they chased him around the parking lot. Man, they caught him and tackled him. It was over. He was Barry Sanders for a second, though. He had like a bag. He used to bring this stink-ass fish to work, and they got him. Now, if that was my brother, we'd have stopped them YNs and be like, yo, chill, leave him alone. But nope, not your brother. So fuck you. So, saying, I hope that answers your question. I know it's long-winded, but I need to tell that. I mean, biracial people don't bother us, at least in New York. It don't bother us at all. In fact, it's fascinating when, you can learn. I was mad as fuck the whole time. I thought Daryl was like Spanish or something. And then his mom's, I think she came to school one day. Who's that lady? That's my mom's. That's your mother? And I used to see her around going to the store and shit. I said, that's your mom? Like, get out of here. And then I'm looking at her and I was like, oh shit, you got her eyes. Wait a minute. And this is my American ignorance. You know what I said to him? You have Chinese? He said, motherfucker, no. Japanese. I said, oh, my bad. No problem, Sang. I said, my bad, bro. My bad. I ain't know, man. I'm sorry. And I said, wait a minute, bro. You speak Japanese? He was like, yes. I'm like, bro, why you ain't say that? He was like, man, when the fuck would I find time to tell y'all that I'm Japanese? Why would I tell y'all that? I said, well, I mean, you done been to all our houses. And he said, yeah, but why would that come up? And I thought about it and I said, you know what? Pinball, what up? I said, you know what? You're right. But I said, wait a minute. When we watch Geisha Man, the unedited part, and we have to read the subtitles, you mean to tell me you understood what the fuck they were saying? He said, yeah. I said, you motherfucker, you were supposed to be teaching us this shit since fucking elementary school, man. We didn't know. Motherfucker been holding out. I'm trying to watch Geisha Man unedited, and I gotta read shit. I'm missing the action. He understood every goddamn word. I was hating, man. He understood every word. Son of a bitch. Shout out to my boy Daryl. Konnichiwa. That's the extent of my Japanese. Anyway. Something else I want to go over, and this is very important. Look up Yusuf Hawkins. Look up the amount of Asian people that get violated as opposed to black people. You know, hold on a second. I'm looking at something. Black people, Rod Neal, salute. Black people, we've been denied for way too long. And what we ask for is not it's not unreasonable. Here's what I'm gonna share with y'all. Most of you know it, some of you don't. I know a lot of you know about the Black Panther 10-point program. And if you don't, I'm going to read this for you because I think this is very important. 1966, the Black Panther Party 10-point program was written on October 15th. Black Panther Party 10-point program outlines a clear set of demands aimed at achieving justice, equality, and self-determination for Black communities, framed as a response to systematic racism and economic exploitation. The document calls for structural change and community empowerment through education, housing, employment, and protection from state violence. Now, is that unreasonable? Is anything that I just read to you unreasonable? You would think that this is a human right in the United States of America. And you would think that the first group of people that should be entitled to that would be the emancipated slaves. You would think that. But instead, they stuck us in shitty housing. They didn't open up their doors for job opportunities. They didn't do that for us. They really tried to get rid of us. They put drugs in our neighborhoods. The Tuskegee experiment. Prior to us, they did, well, during us, with Native Americans, the Trail of Tears. I mean, these Euros that came over here, they really did a number on the Black and brown people on this soil, didn't they? But this is what we demanded. Number one, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our Black community. We believe that Black people will not be free until we are able to determine our destiny. A white person will read that and say, well, what the fuck do you want? What do you mean determine our destiny? In any of these points, there's nothing in here in reference to slaying white people. I always said, y'all better be glad that we just want equality and not revenge, because listen, y'all have done enough. Y'all have done enough. But at this point, we're not animals. We just want equality. Let's go to point number 2. We want full employment for our people. We believe that the federal government is responsible and obligated to give every man employment or guaranteed income. We believe that if the white American businessman will not give full employment, then the means of production should be taken from the businessman and placed into the community so that the people of the community can organize and employ all of its people. I just got done telling you that we couldn't get loans. There could be an empty lot and you could want to open up a parking lot. The bank won't give you a black ass loan, even if you have A1 credit. They'd be like, well, I need some sort of collateral. You want this $50,000. I need to know I can get that back. But meanwhile, the foreigner can come in on a government grant and get that lot. And now you got to park in a lot and pay Bunty from Bombay, India. All we want is a fair shake. We can't get loans or nothing. And then the foreigners come over here with these government assistance programs and then look at us like, why can't you do it? We can't. We tried. And then you build up shit and put it in our neighborhood and we got to shop from you. Give us the opportunity to do for ourselves. I'm sorry, when we did do that, y'all dropped bombs on our head. It's called Black Wall Street. There were several of them. There were several. Third point, we want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black community. Let's read that. I'm speaking French to certain people. We believe that the racist government has robbed us, and now we are demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and 2 mules. Literally, at this point, it's not 40 acres and 2 mules. Now that could be translated to something else. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 100 years ago as restitution for slave labor and mass murder of black people. We will accept the payment in currency, which will be distributed to our many communities. The Germans are now aiding Jews in Israel for the genocide of Jewish people. That's a fact. The Germans murdered 6 million Jews. The American racists have taken part in the slaughter of over 50 million black people. Therefore, we feel that this is a modest demand that we make. As I was reading this in the beginning, I can just hear a white person right now. What do you mean? That was 100 years ago. You don't deserve that. Well, the Germans, they're saying, hey, man, we denounced that Hitler dude. That was crazy. So we're going to give you reparations as an apology. As a matter of fact, I heard Rosa Parks' house, the literal house, is in Germany. Is that true? I didn't research that. Did they not pay homage to Rosa Parks in fucking Germany? Over here in America, I heard she had financial problems. They were trying to put her out of her house. USA, USA. Number 4, we want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. We believe that the white landlords will not give decent housing to our black community. Then the housing and the land should be made into cooperatives so that the community with government aid can build and make decent housing for its people. Didn't that orange motherfucker in the White House right now operate under racism when he was involved in real estate? Boy, Donald Trump. So I don't think what we're asking for here is unreasonable. Number 5, we want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this descent. I'm sorry, it's late, y'all. Descendant American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. We believe in an education system. An educational system that will give to our people a knowledge of self. If a man does not have knowledge of self and his position in his society and the world, then he has little chance to relate to anything else. Now, here's why that's important. Here's why that's important. I need you guys to pay attention. The reason why that's important is because right now, in the last 20 years, they tried to whitewash Black history. They tried to downplay the evil history of the beginnings of this country. They tried to, they did a test run on it already. They did it in Texas, I think. Did they, Rod Neal? I remember reading about, was it Texas? Was it Houston or Dallas? They got those textbooks in those schools, and the mother was reading the book, and she's reading it, and it said that Africans migrated to the Americas for a better way of life. And she looked at the year, and she said, wait a minute, she's not talking about the Africans that came here in the 80s and 90s. She said that was slavery. Migrate? No, we were sold. Some of us were sold, some of us were kidnapped. At minimum, we all saw Roots, the original one from the 80s, not this washed up one that they re-released in the last 10 years. We were brought here against our will. And they tried to whitewash it and say we came here for a better way of life. And they say, man, why we got to talk about that? You tell a Jew not to talk about the Holocaust. I dare you. I double dare you. Tell them, don't talk about the Holocaust. That was then. That happened. Who cares? Move on. Tell them that. I dare you. If you own a store, they will pack you up. If you have a YouTube channel, they will pack your shit up. And you know something? They should. If it's anything I agree with anybody, you need to have knowledge of self. If you're German, if you're Argentinian, if you're Black American, if you're African. Africans are the most diluted people on this planet. Why the nose are shot off on a Sphinx? Oh, they said corrosion. That shit just don't happen. The real story is they shot them shits off. Whoever the fuck, Napoleon or whoever the fuck, some cracker went down there and got jealous of the structures and shot cannons and shot the fucking noses off. They didn't just fall off. They damaged that property because their white asses was jealous. And every time I turn around, they're telling black people to get over shit. Slavery is not conventional here in America anymore, but they could do little things to hold you back. That's what systematic racism is about. Something that Paulie Malignaggi said didn't exist. But there were no guns and drugs put in the fucking neighborhoods of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. It was happening in Chicago. There was no drugs put in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. It was put in Spanish Harlem, in regular Harlem, by the fucking CIA. And when the guy blew the whistle on the CIA, they said he committed suicide. 2 gunshots in the back of his head. What the fuck? The first one didn't get it done? Suicide? He was a whistleblower. You know what, man? Y'all better stop playing with me. Knowledge of yourself is important. You got to know what you're dealing with here. And these YNs are getting dumber and dumber because instead of their single mothers teaching them what life is about and why it's important for not to refer yourself as a YN, a young nigga, but a young king, a YK, understand that you come from a lineage of greatness. You're great because the world is trying to hold you down. You come, your wide nose, your superior genetics, the fact that you can stay out in the sun longer than most lighter skinned people. Black is not even a color, y'all. Y'all know that? Anything anything lighter than the darkest person on this earth is recessive. Did you know that? Don't blame me. It's called Madlow's Law. Look it up. That's science. That's science. Black's not a color. Hazel eyes. You see a dude with hazel eyes. That's a genetic defect. There's a group of people in Australia that are my color and darker with nappy hair, but guess what? They have a genetic defect that although they're my color and darker, they got like blue eyes, green eyes, and blonde afros. If you put them in any city in America, you'd have thought that they dyed their hair and wear contacts. No, it's a genetic default. They call it a defect. Not to say that they're handicapped, but they refer to it as a defect. Black's not a color. But if you have no knowledge yourself, you don't know what the fuck you doing. You look into your mom and she twerking with the music that you rapping on. You think any of these women know about this? The 10-point system? And why this was important? But they can tell you every fucking Cardi B lyric. Number 6, we want all black men to be exempt from military service. This is what they wrote. We believe that black people should not be forced to fight in the military service to defend a racist government that does not protect us. Now, you know something? This was 1966. The atmosphere was a lot different back then. It was a lot different back then. Y'all saw what they did to Muhammad Ali. Because at some point when you lived in the ghetto, you felt that your only way out of the ghetto was, you tried to go to college, but some of us couldn't afford it. And you went to the military. Because in New York, you didn't know, you thought that getting a city job was like, you didn't know how to do it. And back then it was a buddy system. Every cop, you see all the movies, the cops were Irish. And the sergeant, his nephew was a beat officer, and grandpop was a lieutenant. It was a buddy backslapping thing. So you had to go through a lot of red tape to get that job. But then there was the draft. The goddamn draft. What did Ali say? Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me a nigga. And he dodged the draft, and they took his boxing career away from him for a little while. This is real shit. So it goes on to say, we will not fight and kill other people of color in the world who, like black people, are being victimized by a white racist government of America. We will protect ourselves from the force of violence of the racist police and the racist military by whatever means necessary. And by the way, you know what? Let me stop right there, because this is something else I want to pick up on. Let me say this, y'all. Let me say this. Let me say this. This dude running around pretending like he's a Black Panther. And maybe I'll follow up with this pep talk. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. Maybe I'll follow up with it Thursday. This clown running around talking about he's a Black Panther, this yellow nigga talking about, yo, I'm a Black Panther. The real party told him to lay down their name. Don't use their name. He's not a Black Panther. He talked about how he had their blessing at first and he got text to prove it. I ain't getting into all of that. I didn't like how he came onto the scene because it seemed funny to me. I didn't say anything at first. I was just watching. And then lo and behold, and I'm saying to myself, I've seen this dude before somewhere on social media. Couldn't put my finger on it. And then the internet does what it does. And just a couple of years ago, this motherfucker was a Blood and a Crip. And he was threatening the police with violence, like he was threatening ICE with violence. That's not how we do things. We're more diplomatic. And I said, man, this dude is an agent, bro. I'm talking CIA. What he was trying to do was get people riled up so that niggas across the United States could pick up arms and start assaulting, because, you know, like it or not, ISIS law enforcement start assaulting them, shooting them out the window, all kinds of stupid shit for them to start changing laws that affects black people. And what's the cost of that? He ain't never got to worry about a paycheck in his life. And when shit hits the fan, he'll disappear. Or they'll say, oh, we got him, we locked him up. And he'll be somewhere in one of the Cayman Islands or wherever the fuck it is now. He'll be living in Maldives. We're going to deposit 20 grand in your a bank account per month for the rest of your life. We just needed you to get the goons started. That's why y'all can't be running behind everybody. It sounded noble, right? But how many dudes are just looking for a reason to turn up? But I'm going to say this to y'all. When you lead with violence, don't be mad when you get what you asked for. And you got to understand, I don't know what state he was in, but I didn't like his message. And if you ran behind him, which is what he was looking for, and you're sitting, you got 3 of your friends or whatever, or 3 maniacs to start picking up guns and walking around and threatening law enforcement, something going to happen sooner or later. Is he going to be there for you? No, he'll hear about it and he'll give a farewell to you, and we're going to stand in the pocket for Brother Johnson, and we with you. Is he going to put any money on your commissary? Is he going to come see you? If your spine gets severed by a gunshot wound, is he going to pay for your hospital bill? Because some niggas are real stupid. And I said, what he's doing is unsafe. I don't know what's with this dude, but I said, why he look familiar? And then they played that video. I said, this was a nigga. One side of his jacket was blood. One side of his jacket was Crip. And he was just blood cripping it not too long ago. Now he's a Black Panther. And I'm so glad. What was it? Bobby Seale's daughter? No, was it Fred Hampton? I forget. He has a relative that was on social media, and she said, we don't know him. We don't claim him. He's bugging. He's bugging. Exactly, Brother Reef. COINTELPRO. You got to be careful following behind people, especially when they lead with violence. It's not like what the point system said. We will defend ourselves by any means necessary. Defend. That's all you got to say. This dude was talking about literally blowing a hole in somebody. I said, what is going on with this guy? Huey Newton's niece. Thank you, Snoop. It was Huey. Thank you. More on him probably Thursday, because I didn't like that. I'm looking at this like, yo, this shit dangerous. Because you know there's some dudes that don't think straight. Young kids too that don't think straight. Yeah, we need to wear all black and walk around with guns because our Second Amendment rights protect us. And you get these fools, don't do that shit in New York. You'll get some stupid ass walk around with a rifle out in the open with New York. You know what they're going to do to him? You can't do that here. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know what state he was in. But you do it in New York. See what happened to you. I ain't played Grand Theft Auto in over a decade and some change. But you remember when you get that 5 stars and the National Guard comes after you because you done punched too many old bitches in the face and snatched the purse and stole too many cars? You got to run and hide? You can't hide in New York. You really can't. You walking down a guy, he in Philly? My God. Go on and do that shit in New York. NYPD different. Go on and walk down the street holding a goddamn rifle, an AR-15. See what happened to you. People gonna look at you like, what the fuck? What is he doing? Police gonna be on patrol, do. Oh shit. Put your hands down. They're gonna call, before you know it, there's gonna be a copter over your head. SWAT gonna be jumping out windows. You even know they're gonna be there. And you'll be lucky not to be Swiss cheese. What you gonna say? I'm exercising my Second Amendment right. ICE is out of pocket. I don't give a fuck about no ICE, nigga. Put that down and you have 1 second or you are getting lifted off your feet. You are not supposed to have that. What the fuck? In New York State, you can get a concealed carry. You can get a shotgun and rifle license. What you can't do, those last two things I said, you cannot carry that in the street. You can take it to the range. That's it. That's it. Man. But I felt the need to have that, man. Y'all make sure y'all sign up to my Patreon, because I'm gonna be doing lives over there soon. Follow me on Rumble, because there's things I'm gonna talk about on Rumble that I'm just not gonna talk about on YouTube, because you can't. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all. I gotta go lay down. Salute to everybody. Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, Super Chat. Salute to everybody. And once again, thank you, International Quiet Storm. In that Cash App. Y'all hold me down. And I really love and appreciate y'all. Salute to the people new to my channel, whether you on Drew Titan LLC, my boxing channel, or the Painful Excellence podcast, or Bear Cave Entertainment. I haven't done no nerd stuff over there yet, but it's coming back soon. Follow me on Patreon. Follow me on Rumble. And I appreciate y'all, man. And I'll see y'all in the AM, man. Y'all take it gently.
The Painful Excellence Podcast.